When we decided to do a report, I'm the head of the Black Studies department here at Fordham. I just knew the dude was black. But come to find out.
Okay, so here's this white guy who's coming in to teach in the Black Studies department, and people are curious, suspicious, and at times angry. And my attitude was, well, let me do my job and then see after you get to know me whether you think I can do it. I mean, one of the things you have to know me is I'm not very easy to intimidate. So if there were people who thought they could intimidate me, that wasn't going to work. I grew up in Brooklyn. I was a ball player. I grew up fighting. And I grew up playing a lot of ball with black guys, and I was not one of those white guys who was afraid of black men or thought they were like physically stronger. If the other professors in the department thought I shouldn't be doing what I was doing, I would have been in trouble. If my students didn't like my classes, I would have been in trouble. The thing was, the minority of people who thought, as a matter of principle, a white person shouldn't be doing this were always outnumbered.
Professor Naison did his graduate work at Columbia.
I did my research on African American history in the Columbia History Department, and I was also involved in the civil rights group at Columbia, the Congress of Racial Equality. I always knew that I wanted to do research in African American history. I didn't necessarily think I would end up in a Black Studies department. That ended up happening more or less by accident. I was looking for teaching jobs when my fellowship money at Columbia ran out, and I applied to a lot of history departments and got a few offers to teach American history. And then I was playing basketball in Riverside Park, and the young man I was playing with told me that a Black Studies program at Fordham was looking for another professor. So I sent a letter to them which said, first of all, I am white, so if that disqualifies me, I could understand, but if not, I've done this research, I've taught. So I was shocked when I was called for an interview, and then I ended up getting the job. I'm pretty confident in my abilities. I'm pretty confident that whatever I teach, I'm going to teach things I know. I'm not going to pretend that I am black. I'm going to, talk about history in ways that seem credible to me and, let the chips fall where they may.
Professor Naison seemed very confident in his skills, so I wanted to talk to his students, but I couldn't talk to his current students because they still were waiting on their grades. I decided to talk to a former student, Noel Wolfe.
So when I came here, I took the first class I could with Naison, which was hip-hop street literature. Which was sort of a fascinating and interesting mix of people. And Naison and I started talking about my dissertation topic or my research interests. Naison has a huge personality. That's the first thing I think anyone who knows or meets Mark Naison is he has a huge personality. He loves what he does.
I absolutely don't think we're in a post-racial world. I don't think that, Barack Obama's becoming president changes that much. It's a great thing that it happened, but as long as there are this many black men in prison in America, then I think there are some serious issues that we have to face, that you have to think of in terms of history and race in America.
Some historians side with Martin Luther King Jr. and some with Malcolm X. I wanted to see where Professor Naison stood on the issue.
That's an impossible question. I love them both for different reasons. I philosophically, I'm much closer to Martin Luther King, but I admire Malcolm X as the self-made person. If somebody says to me I can't identify the black struggle, I would say, prove that I can't. This is what I do, this is your word against mine. Let my work speak for itself.
This is Lawrence Seeley reporting with Eye on Fordham.
It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come.